everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Struther.
I'm Sean Spencer.
Back.
We are back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The lion. The lion. New man, so funny. Kirk Cousins.
All right. I am Janae Struther.
I'm Sean Spencer.
And this is Let's Talk Football.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, one half of that dynamic duo that is Let's Talk Football, Sean Spencer. I know I messed it up. It's all great, but I've been saying it all day. You know what it is. Hey, but I am here on Tuesday night. Let's Talk Football. The Roundtable is back with you, ladies and gentlemen. We are so glad you are here to watch us. We see you coming. Come on in. We got some good stuff to talk about. I'm sorry, let me adjust my hat right quick. We got some really good stuff to talk about. Let's go. And we got some special guests sitting in the background. Oh my goodness. Is this who I think it is? Sydney Swinton already here with us talking about Go Steelers.
Oh, Lord.
You know what I'm talking about, Steelers.
Yeah. Go home, Steelers. That's what you should be saying.
Shout out to my guy, Sydney Swinton. Came on Let's Talk Fantasy Football and he weathered the storm. We talked about his team. I wasn't gonna make him double dip, but there is somebody I do have coming on here double dipping to talk about his team. Let's go. But before I do, I gotta talk about the people I'm here with. You already know the host of Diversity with Delilah Crespo. Yeah. And my guy, Mr. Nick, I want the smoke, Rosario. Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want to clarify one thing. I am round, but I'm not the table. Just want to
Wow. Never thought anything of that, man.
Okay.
Oh my goodness gracious. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We are glad that you are here. Absolutely, you're here with us. You got David and Sid going back in the comments. David talk about shut up. Oh my goodness.
I love that you guys are best buds. It's
They're like the two little 5-year-olds in the sandbox fighting over the shovel or something.
But isn't that how you know you love your best friend? You kind of gotta do that. Is he your best friend if you can't talk? If you can't talk poop to each other?
Exactly.
Wow. Unlike these Dallas fans, I never give up on my team. Trash talk is going back.
Yes.
Absolutely no. Dave's gonna come on here and try to defend his boys. But, I cannot wait. We have to move really quick. We have some birthdays today. First,
all right.
Got to shout out my nephew,
Happy birthday.
the manager of the fantasy team. Show me your TDs.
I
believe
it is the best name I've ever seen in fantasy football. I love it.
I'm
gonna
have to steal that for
I love it. Yes. So definitely happy birthday to you. And then Nick, you got somebody that.
My little brother, Matthew Ortiz. Man, happy birthday, brother. He's
all right.
He's right now. He's probably
Lunch
sleeping. He's got for a midnight shift at FedEx. He drives for FedEx, so he's got he has a late shift.
All right.
So keep delivering those presents, bro. Happy birthday.
All right. Hey.
Happy birthday to you. No doubt.
Make that overtime. The nieces want presents. You got to make that money.
Hey,
bro.
I got you, man.
Hey,
I remember overtime.
You getting
paid for it.
Time of the year.
Getting paid for it. Teachers don't get paid for overtime, but I remember when I used to get paid for overtime.
But we can definitely that's a whole other podcast in itself. We can definitely dive into
Happy
that.
birthday, Cameron and Matthew.
Right.
No doubt. And also at this time, 3 days ago, if you do not know, Hanukkah started. Happy Hanukkah to our guy, Sydney Swinton, and the rest of the people that are celebrating.
And to all my fellow Jewish listeners out there, happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
That's right. Happy Hanukkah.
Let's go. Oh, man, we got Ash over here in the comments talking about quit saying Dallas fans and say David, please. DC for L.
All
oh,
right,
my
here we
goodness.
go.
Hey, it's starting early. But look, hey.
I love it.
Hey, that's there.
Bring all the smoke. It's not just Nick who's all about the smoke.
Happy Hanukkah. David's a gentleman. Happy Hanukkah, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Happy Hanukkah, everybody.
We're fighting again, so it doesn't matter.
So happy Hanukkah. Hope it is the best, no doubt.
Right.
And we are going to go ahead and move on. If you guys noticed last night, we never do it easy. We always make sure we're hanging on the edge of our seat to the very end. Last night, Washington barely, by the skin of our teeth, got past a very bad Seattle team. Ooh, we could spend a long time talking about that. Russ didn't look great until that last drive when he did his thing. And Delilah, 3 wins in a row. I'm so excited about it.
Kudos, seriously.
Yeah. but Tampa was good, but these other ones, they've been kind of ugly. Certain points are ugly. We're getting it done without Chase, all things considering. We don't have Montez Sweat. Gibson is becoming Heineke's been doing his thing. But what do you think, Delilah?
Listen, I just think it's fun. Honestly, I think it's great that you guys are grinding, right? It's like, it's not a pretty win, but it's a win, right? At the end of the day, right? Like a win is a win, right? It's a W, right? I mean, I don't want to quote Vin Diesel from Fast and the Furious, but it's kind of true, right? It doesn't matter if you win by a mile or, right? It doesn't matter, right? It's a W. That's all that matters. So, I mean, I think it's exciting. I see it a lot of fun. I mean, especially since, like, honestly, to come back this much and you played, whatever people might think about Seattle, you still beat Russell Wilson, who until he messed up for the first time ever, right? Because he never missed a game. I think people forget that. Mm-hmm. That man has never missed a game until he messed up his finger. So it's like, that is the first time he actually got knocked out and had to go into surgery and do all this different stuff. And so I got to say, if you go in and you eke out a win against Russell Wilson, I see that as a big deal. You also beat the GOAT, right? No one expected y'all to beat the GOAT. And so, kudos on the wins. That's all. Like,
hey, exactly. Hey, look, I appreciate
can't hate on that.
Exactly. Look, at the end of the day, 3 weeks ago, we were 2-6. We were 2-6 and basically came on this show and all the other ones basically talking about, should they just start looking at next year? You know what I mean? Right. But they pulled it together. It started with a big victory over the GOAT, who, had a lot of guys out, had a lot of guys missing in that game, but we got the job done. We outlasted them and looked pretty good doing it. And then we had the game against Carolina, got that victory. And then this one, it's by the skin of our teeth, but we got it done. Like you said, a win is a win. So 3 in a row.
Ash and David.
Oh yeah. 3 in a row right now, Nick, is huge. It's huge. What? I mean, we're peaking at the right time.
Well, I think there's a couple things to pay attention to here as well. It's 3 in a row, of course, but these are 3 conference wins. Yeah. And that's important for tiebreakers, considering the way that the middle, there's a lot of teams in that 500 area. Having the better conference record is one of the tiebreakers. Mm-hmm. So you guys just rattled off 3 conference wins in a row, which that in itself is pretty impressive. But I think there was something interesting that the announcer said, and I actually like to get your take on this, Sean. I don't know if you were listening closely, but they talked about how, this is Tyler Heineke's audition. Where, it's still not quite his team, but that he's auditioning for this to be his team. And it's like, I get what you're saying, but to me, this is his team. This guy has led you on this 3-game win streak. I think he's proven that he can manage this offense with Gibson. And again, Gibson's the workhorse, and McKissick gets all the glory with 2 touchdowns. But I'm just, and he's still, he's still got weapons to throw to. I don't know. Go ahead. What do you think?
Concerning Heineke, this, on most major jobs that you go to, major corporate legal jobs or things like that, you have multiple interviews. The first interview for the undrafted quarterback out of Old Dominion was that game and the playoffs against Tom Brady, and he passed. We all know that. He passed. He got his contract. This year, he's still a rookie. this is his second interview. I agree with that.
Yeah.
And look, because if, like I said 3 weeks ago, if we talk about this, what are we saying? You know what I mean? We're like, look, hey, this guy's just not the answer. You know, this guy, you know, he can get it done against garbage teams, but he's not the answer. And then he plays like this. Look, he has the ability to do these things. He can do it. And he definitely does need to prove otherwise. When we come into this time of the year, this is nice. And going into the offseason, you know how we talked about it last year. If there's a big name quarterback, and the comments are talking about Russ, and we talk about Big Ben,
Right.
Aaron Rodgers.
No, I get all that. Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, that's going to play a
you
factor.
didn't get one, and so
Yeah.
Tyler is your guy.
Right.
And the thing,
But even with that,
it.
Nick, even with that, he wasn't supposed to. I mean, he's our guy because our main guy got hurt in the
Right.
first game. You know what I mean? So we didn't
But hey,
draft him.
next
We
man
didn't
up.
go after
I
him.
know.
We
I
got
get
him
that.
because of the turmoil that was going on.
Right.
I love
right.
this
For
guy.
sure, for
I
sure, for
absolutely
sure.
love him. I'm
But
not trying to jump on you. I love him.
No, I get
but-
it. But what if
Yeah.
Fitzpatrick came back tomorrow? Would you start him or do you start Heineke?
I start Heineke
Okay.
because you
No,
play the hot hand.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying though. So it's not Fitzpatrick's job anymore. It's Heineke's. Yes or no?
Yeah, but
Right? I know. I mean, I'm just saying. I think he's earned at least that much with these last 3 victories. That's all I'm saying. Is that I think, because again, you're playing without Chase Young, and I believe Montez Sweat didn't play yesterday either. So you were up 2 of your greatest defenders, and you guys still pulled out a win. That's an impressive thing. Whether it was a slot, it was a little bit sloppy game. There's some penalties here and there, but the fact is, as you know, a W is a W, and in the end, you pulled it out, and that's what
Right.
matters. And that's what's going to look in the scoreboard. Nobody's going to
it's just-
go,
it's
they
weird.
pulled it out barely. No,
It's
a
weird to
victory.
ask if Fitzpatrick came tomorrow, would we bring him back? Because
Right.
obviously I'm somebody that talks about going with the hot hand. But
Yeah.
at the same time, if Fitzpatrick is not an Aaron Rodgers, he's not like a stud. If we have a chance to get a stud, I love what Heineke's done, but Heineke's a backup. Okay,
Sure.
like let's be honest right now. If you had your pick of even middle of the road quarterbacks, are you going to sit here and select Heineke over some of these guys? No, we're liking him because of what he's done, and shout out to him. I'm so glad he's doing.
But here's the thing that I
the
think a lot of
thing.
people miss, and they were talking about this last night. He's been with Scott Turner now for a while. Because remember, he was just one of these kids on the practice squad or something, right? Like but he's worked with this offense and this system for a while in terms of just practice. So now that he's comfortable in this offense, I'm just saying that maybe this is now his progression where he's shown you the last 3 games that he's improving. He can manage the offense. He's doing a little bit better. I'm just saying for me right now, like you said, there could be, big name quarterback, whatever. But for your offense that you have and for what he's doing, he's the guy for this team right now. That's all I'm saying.
Well, right,
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
This
if
is
we're
his
talking
offense.
about today,
He's comfortable in this offense, right? Like this is his team right now.
right
Good, better,
now,
and different. You know what
today,
I mean?
look today. If that's what we're talking about, because that's where we got to figure out what we're asking
Right,
today.
okay.
Then yes, then today after what he's done in the last 3 weeks, yes, he's our guy right now. I mean, and that changed from 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago,
I mean, I
we're
get
not
that,
going to
too.
say that. You know what I mean? Like he had opportunities in games and did not pull. We weren't out of a lot of these games.
No,
You know what I
that's
mean?
true. That's
So
true.
look, for right now, he's our guy. In the offseason, I think he's passing the interview. I think he's doing a great job. If anything, these 3 games to me have shown that he can get past, get to the next step. He can be a legitimate NFL quarterback.
And I believe your schedule is a little easier going forward, if I'm not mistaken.
Next one, not the next one. They got to play the Raiders next.
Well,
after that. But here it depends, right? Look what Derek Carr did. Did you see the points he put up?
Well, he's still
I'm mad. I'm mad at it.
And then one game.
No, I know, but it's not an easy win. Minnesota has an easy win.
I'm just saying though, as far as schedule,
Minnesota has an easy win. They played Detroit.
Okay, but
next.
look, let's go with the Raiders right away. The Raiders put up 36 on that defense. Okay, on that Cowboys defense.
Right.
Washington gave up 23 point something to Cam Newton a couple weeks ago. Okay, so we're playing well. Our secondary is playing well,
Right.
but you can't overlook the fact that we don't have Montez Sweat. We don't have Chase Young. You know what I mean? We have injuries. We're dealing with a very light linebacker core. So, like, we're going to give up the points. And in a game like this against the Raiders, who I am right there on board with you, they are as fickle and as finicky as you can get. But we have to look at the fact, like Delilah's mentioned many times, Carr is like, what, top 5 passer in the league?
Yes.
You know, some people.
He is. I mean,
you know, and then the other 5 games you have after that are divisional games,
right?
Which, you know, with the exception
those are
of
always harder. We
they're
know
always,
they're divisional.
You know,
games,
and we're all technically kind of in the hunt. I mean, in our division, so.
Yep.
You know,
that is true.
You know, going back to Heineke, yes, he's the guy, but this coming up schedule is going to be interesting, and that's something. Delilah, talk to me. I want to come back to you on this.
The reason I bring up Minnesota is because you and Minnesota are fighting for 7.
Right.
Okay, you're both fighting for 7.
Yep.
And the only reason Minnesota isn't there is because of conference wins. Like, we know that's the tiebreaker. However, unfortunately, going into next week, now I'm not saying you guys can't beat the Raiders, but it's harder. It's a harder game. Minnesota plays Detroit next. So, like, we know that, like, you know, Minnesota beat Detroit in overtime. We all remember that, right? So there's going to be another rematch. It's going to be a rematch. But
or the Lions
99% certain that Minnesota is going to take that W, right? I think we're comfortable with that.
Yeah,
right.
I thought
so
they'd win this week coming off the Green Bay victory, but that didn't happen.
So, exactly. So what I'm saying is, Minnesota has an easier schedule, at least when you look at it.
Next week for sure, but yeah.
So, but those are still winnable games, right? So if Minnesota wins and Washington loses, they're 7 again. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a fight for 7. That's all I'm trying to say.
Now, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, and here's how if Washington gets in, it's not going to be by conference. It's going to be by division. Okay, because the fact that we have 5 straight NFC East matchups,
it's crazy, right?
So if we go 5-0, 4-1, something like that, and we have a favorable win-loss record in the division, if we can sneak up on Dallas and potentially get them out, that's somewhere where we basically are writing our own destiny. We control our destiny right now,
right? Yeah.
And honestly, this is where you want to be. It's December. You're playing good. We got the Eagles to lose. Dallas is 1-3 in November. You know, this is a long way away from where we were in October when we were getting stomped every single week.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, so this is definitely something very positive, and I'm very, very excited about it. Wow. I like that. I appreciate that talk. That was nice. I'm glad we're actually talking about Washington for once.
It's
and not a Dan Snyder conversation. You know,
that's because it's unfortunately, as I understand, you can't control ownership, but you can separate that and the team and realize that the team has nothing to do with it.
Absolutely. Hey, and to move on, we're gonna go ahead and get off Washington because I do have a show tomorrow night called Washington Football Weekly where we just talk Washington. But we gotta definitely move on to the longest running segment on Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable, Diversity with Delilah. Yeah. And Delilah is covering Ron Rivera, coach.
All right, so basically, first of all, you Cowboy people, I want y'all to relax. I want you to remember that Ron Rivera was a Bears first.
That's right.
Bears. Before y'all say anything.
He's the Super Bowl champion.
It's not where you started.
All right,
it's where you are now.
No, I know, but I'm saying before they show favoritism, I want to remind them where he started. Okay.
Let's go.
That's all. That's all to put it out there. Anyway, so Ron Rivera is Mexican and Puerto Rican, first of all. So again, Latinos, because there's not a lot of us in the league. Obviously, we know that even though we talk about DWD, diversity is still an issue when it comes to coaches. Okay, when it comes to coaching, almost everyone is white. Let's be
Right,
honest.
right.
Like,
Well,
just look at it, okay? I'm just saying.
real quick, Delilah. Hey, to drive that point home, when Delilah was talking about it in the green room before, Nick was like, "Wait, didn't you already talk about him?"
I
And it was
did
like,
not.
No, that's the
That's how
other
sad it
coach.
was.
Yeah, but she was like, "Yeah, that's the other Hispanic coach." You know, there's only a couple of them.
There's only been a few, so yeah.
All right, yeah, I knew it's one of those guys.
Yeah, no. So, all right, so Ron, whose full name is Ronald Eugene Rivera. Yeah, Eugene. That's his
There's
middle
a
name.
middle name for a Mexican Puerto Rican.
I know, right? Well, you know, okay, you know how we are. We try to give, so I don't know. Maybe it's a people of color thing, but we try to give our kids non-ethnic names because we know how it looks on paper.
My middle name is Van Robert.
So
come on, I'm Nicholas Joseph.
Right.
So unfortunately, we know what it means, even though we want to name our kids like something beautiful and ethnic. On paper, though, we know what it looks like when you see our names. So anyway, anywho, just a food for thought out there, just so you know why sometimes you run into people who are either black or brown and they have like the whitest sounding names, because our parents,
Sean Van Robert.
Yeah, our parents want to make sure we're not judged right away on paper. Anywho, so his father was actually, he served in the military. He is of Puerto Rican descent, and he met his mother in California when he was stationed there, who's of Mexican descent. So that is kind of a little background into Ron Rivera. So he's a Mexican, as we like to say. He actually earned a full scholarship to Berkeley, where he led the Golden Bears in tackles as a linebacker during his first 3 years there. For his final season in 1983, Rivera received several awards and honors for his performance, including being named Consensus All-American and Pac-10 Football Defensive Player of the Year, along with the Arizona linebacker at that time, Ricky Huntley. And also he won the Pop Warner Trophy, and being named MVP of the East-West Shrine Game. Rivera finished his career as the school's all-time leader at the time in sacks with 22 and 336 tackles. He also once held the school's single-season record for sacks with 13 and tackles for loss with 26.5. So obviously we know he's always had a defensive edge, and this is kind of where it started. Right, it started in college. He was, as you know, he was selected in the second round of the 1984 NFL draft by the Chicago Bears, playing for them as a rotational linebacker at the time when he was first brought on. In 1985, Rivera became the first American of Puerto Rican descent to win a Super Bowl, as the Bears defeated the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 20. He was named the team's Man of the Year in 1988 and was named their Ed Block Courage Award recipient the following year. He played 9 seasons for them before retiring after the 1992 season, playing 137 games with 62 starts, 392 tackles, 7.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and 4 fumble recoveries.
Can I just say one thing, Delilah? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
This is to show you, because I want people to understand this about like Ron Rivera. All the stats you named up about him at Berkeley, about being the leading tackle, right? So this kid is a primo linebacker coming into the league, but then he joins a team that has Wilbur Marshall, Mike Singletary, and Otis Wilson. So he doesn't start. He's a rotational guy. Most teams that he would start on with those kind of credentials, but he comes to the Bears, and it's like, well, kid, we really don't have a spot for you yet, because we have these 3 all-pro linebackers. So you're just going to sit down here and be rotational. Sorry, I know, but just...
No, you're good. You're good.
Don't worry about how good that Bears defense really was.
Nice.
So with all his accomplishments, still was a bench guy.
Yeah.
At the beginning, but yes.
Yeah,
all right.
in the beginning. Let's start somewhere, but yeah.
Moving on. In 1999, that's kind of when Rivera started his kind of coaching stuff. So in 1999, Rivera was named the linebackers coach for the Philadelphia Eagles under then coach Andy Reid. During his tenure, the Eagles advanced to the NFC Championship for 3 consecutive seasons. He also was credited with developing linebacker Jeremiah Trotter into a 2-time all-time pro. So basically, he's credited for helping that dude be who he was. In 2004, Rivera was named defensive coordinator of the Chicago Bears. 2005, the Bears defense was rated second in the league by total yardage, with the team winning the NFC North Division with 11-5. Then, of course, we lost the division to the Carolina Panthers. Yes. Obviously, we're going to laugh at that because we know where Ron goes later. For his efforts that year, Rivera was named Assistant Coach of the Year by the Pro Football Writers Association. In 2006, the Bears had the league's third-ranked defense in terms of points allowed, which helped them advance to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, we lost, as you know, to Indiana, the Colts, and Peyton Manning. The defense's success earned Rivera recognition, which is why he goes and becomes the coach for the Carolina Panthers.
That's right.
So in 2011, he officially becomes the coach for the Carolina Panther. He was the third Latino in NFL history to become a head coach, following Tom Fears and Tom Flores, which, as I said, I only talked about Tom Flores a few months ago. It was not Ron Rivera. Anyway, so that's where he gets kind of his taste of being a head coach. In 2013, the Panthers then went 11-1 to finish the season, including the then franchise record of an eight-game winning streak to win the NFC South Division and make the playoffs for the first time since 2008. For his efforts, Rivera was honored as the 2013 Coach of the Year. During the early part of the 2013 season, Rivera was given the nickname of Riverboat Ron. That's when the name came up by fans and the media after he took several risky decisions, something previously not attributed to him, because he didn't start off that way. He was actually pretty conservative in the beginning as a coach. And then when people started talking smack, and I don't know if you've ever been around Latinos, we take that to heart. And so obviously, so he was like, okay, I'll show you that I don't, that I can't take risks. And so when he started taking the risks, that's when Riverboat Ron came about. Yeah. Before that, on the Bears, he was actually known as Chico. Chico. And he was given the name as Chico. I'm dating myself, but I don't know if you guys remember Chico and the Man. But that's where that's why he was given. Yeah, exactly. That's
not Razor Ramon.
That's why
not Chico. He wasn't around yet.
No, he wasn't.
He's the bad guy.
He was there. Yeah, he was named Chico by the defensive coordinator of the Bears at the time because of Chico and the Man. Because I don't know if you guys know, but Freddie Prinze was Puerto Rican. Anyway, so his nickname before Riverboat Ron was Chico. In 2014, the Panthers then you kind of started, winning, having all these different accolades, right? The Panthers defeated the Arizona Cardinals 27-16 in the NFC wildcard playoff game for the team's first playoff win since 2005. Unfortunately, they lost the NFC Championship to the Seattle Seahawks at the time. Yeah. The team's momentum, though, kept going under his leadership. In 2015, the Panthers produced their best season in franchise history by finishing 15-1, with their only loss versus the Falcons in Week 16. Rivera was recognized as, again, he won NFL Coach of the Year. His second such honor. The team held the number 1 seed in the NFC playoffs, where they defeated the Seahawks in the divisional round at that point, and the Arizona Cardinals in the NFC Championship game, which that's why they advanced to Super Bowl 50, but that's where they lost to the Denver Broncos. But it was the first Super Bowl in which both head coaches, who were coaches of the two different teams, Rivera and Broncos, Gary Kubiak, had actually played in a Super Bowl previously.
Right.
Yeah, the Panthers lost, as we know, 24-10 in a game which both sides' defenses were the ones that dominated. Rivera finished his career with the Panthers with 4 playoff appearances and a total record of 79-6-7-1, both of which ranked the first all-time in team history. So right now, basically, you're saying he is the best head coach the Panthers have had. So,
there you go.
And now, obviously, we know he became the head coach in 2020 to the Washington football team. He had to deal with a lot of stuff because when he took on the role, that's when COVID was, rampaging. That's when he was dealing with, his quarterback doing shenanigans off the field, right? We know everything, everything went tits up, as it said, in 2020, because he was also battling cancer the whole time, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know what the future holds right now for Ron, but currently this is where he stands. He's the head coach for the Washington football team. So who knows? Hopefully he goes further. I wish him the best, and I hope he's another head coach that makes it into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We'll see, because I don't know if he's there yet as a player. No, I don't think so.
I don't think he'll make it as a player.
So again, he has to make it as a head coach, unfortunately. And there's not not very many Latinos in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So I hope he's the next one.
Hopefully he can get in. I tell you, if he can turn around Washington amid all the issues that we have going on, and he's already started to do that, and it shows, he will definitely get those accolades. I mean, look, you got to remember. Yeah. We got to remember.
It took Tom Flores of the Raiders to just be recognized and be inducted.
And he won 2 Super Bowls. Right.
And he won two Super Bowls.
This guy, Ron Rivera, is a motivator. We've seen what he's done in Washington. Everybody thinks about Carolina in that 15-1 year in Super Bowl 50 when they win and all that stuff. Right. But we got to remember, Ron Rivera, he's brought a team that had a losing record to the playoffs before. Mm-hmm. He had that one of those Panthers teams won the division at 7-8-1 and made it to the playoffs under Ron Rivera. He has those guys believing. You've seen what he does in Washington. And speaking of him in his olden days, I saw this a while ago, and I'm glad I'm getting to play it now. It does have some United Way stuff in there, so we do not own the rights.
We do not own the rights to this video.
Yeah, we do not own the rights to this. So if you got it, we will take it out right after. But definitely want to show a little older Ron Rivera action.
This is my family, my wife Stephanie, and our son Christopher. My family and my faith are the most important things in my life. I'm Ron Rivera of the Chicago Bears, and I know how important the family and family values are to the Hispanic community. That's why I belong to an organization called the United Way, Via Unidas. United Way extends us all a chance to volunteer to work together to solve our problems and provide opportunities for our children and our families. United Way works in big cities like Chicago and in small communities like the one I grew up in California. You'll find it working in your community, wherever you live. United Way is there helping people to help themselves. As a United Way volunteer, I have worked to provide public service announcements both in Spanish and in English to help minority families. In America, we have many precious freedoms, and among them is the freedom to join together to give to organizations like the United Way. When you give, you bring out the best in you. And United Way.
Yeah, buddy.
There you go.
Definitely shout out Ron Rivera, looking mighty young. And
the mullet there. Didn't he have some hair in the back there?
Oh yeah,
very young.
I believe that was
that had to be 80s. That's an 80s commercial.
That was the late 80s, I believe.
That was an 80s commercial.
89, I think that was. Definitely young Ron Rivera. Delilah, we appreciate that so very much. He's definitely changing the culture. He's definitely doing a great thing. And hey, hopefully he does get into the Hall of Fame. But like you said, Tom Flores just got in and he won a couple Super Bowls.
He won a couple Super Bowls, right?
So we shall definitely see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are. Delilah, you're back. Thank you. Thank you for that, Delilah.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for that. Absolutely.
Thanks for sharing that infomercial. I caught the last part of it. That was great.
Right? A young Ron Rivera. That was pretty great. I'm glad I've been sitting on that clip for a while. I'm glad I got to play it.
I was like, oh yeah, he was in that commercial.
Right. So shout out to him. But we are going to move on to probably one of my favorite parts of the show. Anytime I get to talk to my guy Dave on the show, that's one thing. But when I get to talk about how his team is just crumbling, let's go.
Okay, can I say one thing before he comes on and hopefully he can address this? Listen, I was hoping that you guys will finally break that curse and beat Green Bay to actually make it all the way, man. Like, we can't do it, so I was hoping y'all could do it, and you guys were there, and I was like, come on, man, just get past that hump.
I'm gonna bring my guy in to address this and many other things. Wait a minute, David. Don't see that. Now I gotta take him back out. I told you about that, David. What up, Dave?
What up, guys?
What's happening? Hey.
Hey, Dave.
Beautiful Tuesday in Chicago.
Can I adjust this for you? Is everything good?
Everything's just right, baby. Everything's just right.
There it is.
So look, the elephant in the room. Okay, you started off season obviously pretty amazing, but in the month of November, the Cowboys have gone 1-3. They've had some rough outings where they weren't able to muster up touchdowns, and then they've had some games like this last one where, for all intents and purposes, you definitely should have won. But 4 pass interference penalties against the same guy, kind of like, oh my God, come on now. So, like, talk to us, man. How are you feeling? Are you panicking at all? Are you worried about that team that's nipping on your heels? I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if I just want to. Are you worried about?
No
pause?
This guy, man.
Yep, you know.
No panic, sir. I never get excited. Even during the Romo days, I never let myself get excited because these two over here and you up there all know how it is to follow a team that's just let you down too many times over the years.
Yeah, for sure.
We've all been watching football for too long to get excited over little things. I think we can all agree that what we saw from the Cowboys early on in the season was even enough to get somebody like me a little bit excited.
Sure.
The one thing comes back every single year for me. I know Ash is probably going to be upset with me. This team has been soft since our Super Bowl years. This team has lacked a killer instinct. This team has lacked the ability to win the close, tough, hard-fought games. Ash hates the Eagles. And here's the generational difference between me and Ash. I hate the Giants.
Right.
Watching the Eli Manning Giants just rape us every year, no matter
rough. Yeah.
And those Giants teams, those were hard-nosed teams under Tom Coughlin.
Yeah.
Sure. Those teams had grit. They had heart. No matter how bad they were, they came out and they played every week.
Yes.
Dallas has always had that certain Jerry Jones, we're on the big stage, we're America's team, softness. And under Dak, I've seen a change in leadership. I've seen a change in the way certain players play. Getting Jason Garrett out, I thought, was a good thing because I didn't think that Jason Garrett had the edge to lead this team.
And he got fired again recently.
Mike McCarthy, I don't think Mike McCarthy has the edge either. And what we saw against the Raiders was the same thing that I've been seeing for years and years and years. That's a game that you have to win. Now, I understand the loss against Denver, and I understand the loss against KC, and I forgive both of those losses and was still positive moving forward. However, when you come out of those two losses and it doesn't look like you learned anything, yes, we were missing players. Don't talk to me about injuries. Look at Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Arizona.
Yeah.
Watching 2 losses, and I was in 5th grade the last time Kyler Murray played.
Yeah. And D-Hop.
The Minnesota game was the one game all year that I thought really defined us as a team. We came out without Dak. We fought hard, and we played a great game together. Yeah. What I saw against Las Vegas was just an unprepared team who didn't learn the lessons of their recent losses.
Yeah.
Right.
Championship teams do not lose that game against the Raiders.
Right.
So Rational David is back. I love my team. Like Sid said
I get
earlier
it.
today, I will sit there and I will watch until the bitter end. I don't care what the score is. I'll be in the living room watching the game with the guys, and it's out of reach. And I come out here and I watch the rest on my phone and pout on the patio.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, I get it. Yeah, for sure.
We've all been there.
I get
I'm
it.
always going to support them, but there is a lack of toughness in Dallas, and I hope that Dak is honestly one of the best leaders in the game.
Yeah, for sure.
At his age, on that huge Jerry Jones stage, probably the most high profile quarterback position in the league, and coming off the gruesome injury he just had.
Yeah.
Dak is one of the best leaders in the league.
Yeah, that's not why you guys are losing, because he's doing his job every game.
I think we'll see this week if DeMarcus Lawrence plays, which they're saying he's going to. DeMarcus Lawrence and Randy Gregory is supposed to be right behind him.
Mm-hmm.
The two of them with Micah Parsons is an absolute nightmare
for
any quarterback in this league. I don't care who's on your offensive line. Handling all three of those guys is a losing effort.
It's going to be
if
interesting.
this defense can start to turn the corner and make the stops when we need to and protect our secondary, then yes, I think we have a great shot to make a lot of noise in the playoffs. However, I am backing off of my Super Bowl predictions because as I see it right now, the Cowboys have yet to prove to me that they have become a different team than the one that I've been watching since 1996. Show me that you can win the tough games. Show me that you can win when you're not supposed to.
Right.
And then we can talk.
Yeah. Well, I would like to.
I was riding the wave with you though for a little bit because like y'all came out like gangbusters, you know what I'm saying? I was like, all right, here we go. This is the Dallas I remember of the 90s, like that was my number 2 team, I was like, yeah, Dallas in the 90s, and I was like, oh no.
Like, oh
no. Listen, I hope that like you guys don't lose don't go out in the first round. I don't know, because
me too.
It's just
I hope you do.
But it's like I don't know, but I agree with you and I agree with your points. And here it's like everybody always gets, I don't know why people get upset at people who are fans of their teams but also understand football. And everybody's like, oh, why are you talking about your team? And it's like, because we love our team, but we also understand football. And that's why, like, everybody's like, oh, well, you guys, so every time me and Nick, we critique the Bears, we know what we're talking about. And so, like, we should be able to, because, yeah, it hurts us. We want us to win. Just like David wants the Cowboys to win, but it comes down to fundamentals, like who is going to edge out the other team. And when you look at the NFC teams, Arizona is winning without Kyler Murray. I want y'all to think about that. Okay? Mm-hmm. Arizona's winning games without Kyler Murray. They won without their head coach, who is their only play caller. They don't have an offensive coordinator, okay? I think that people don't understand that Arizona doesn't have an offensive coordinator. Their head coach is their play caller. And when he left with the COVID protocol, they won. And so I think that's what people are saying. It's like when you look at these teams, if you can win with all these obstacles, because Arizona also has her players. They've also had all these different things, but they're still winning games. Yeah. So they are the better team to beat. And they're sitting at number 1. And then they play us. And they're the kicker of butt next week. I'm not even saying that and at home. We're gonna lose at home again. And I know maybe Nick might disagree, but come on, let's be honest. Like they're gonna
we'll see.
God.
Can I respond to some of these comments real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Because I'm putting some of these out here.
No, wait, I'm not saying you can't be happy for your team, but there's nothing wrong with also critiquing your team. No, by all means. I'm not hating on Dallas.
I'm sorry.
Remember, I'm not a Washington fan, so I don't hate on either team. I'm just saying that there's nothing wrong with critiquing a team.
Right.
and be
Dave.
honest. But I'm not saying you can't root for your team either.
You can't handle the truth.
No, she was just making the point. But yeah, go ahead, Dave.
That's all, Ash.
Question.
Please,
Sean,
by all
Sean,
means.
why are our names not showing?
Huh?
Oh, our names, because usually it says our names about.
You can't handle
There you
the
go.
truth.
Ash, please,
There
by
you
all
go.
means.
There you go, Sid.
Please root for Dallas.
Alright,
I want you
okay,
guys
so-
to win. Did you see Wendy? You missed her comment all the way above saying you guys can't beat the Packers. You missed her comment. I want you guys to win and make it all the way and beat that hump, please.
And the Packers can't beat Minnesota.
so-
What's
I
the
pray.
No, well, yeah,
I'll
no.
do my fingers.
Look, but what she was saying essentially what she's saying is the same thing David's saying, is that she's rational. Because if we look up here, she was saying, never let yourself feel happiness.
That's all.
So she knows how it feels.
She's
be-
saying that to me. She,
Oh, you definitely can't feel
she's
happiness.
the overly optimistic Cowboys fan.
That's okay.
Dak can never do no wrong. We're
Be
going to
that. I want you to.
and she hates
I really
that I'm
do.
rational, even though I had to live through Quincy Carter.
Right, there you go.
Anthony
Can I ask you
Wright.
something,
Anthony
David?
Wright.
And Ab
You know what? I forget. I
Hold up,
forgot
hold up.
about him.
Hold up, Dave. Go ahead.
Holy cow! I'm sorry. I forgot about Quincy.
Ablo out here saying Dak doesn't show every game. I
does.
did not once in my entire tirade right there say anything about Dak and his ability. All I was talking about was him being a leader in
Right,
this
and he
league.
is a leader.
And I just, I lost it all. All right, where are the comments?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
They're all there.
Dak doesn't show up every game, Ab, and I'm okay
Let me
with
ask you
that.
something,
I
David.
just want him to play within himself and play within the team. We've given Dak way too much rope. All right, when the man passes over 40 times, we lose. It's a proven fact. Stop throwing the ball so much. Run the ball. We have the second best running back duo in the league. That's all I'm saying to that. I know Ash and Sid hate how I can be negative about Dak, but I'm just a realist. Yeah, he's coming along. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to get back in the comments.
Yeah.
Oh, I
want to ask
Hold
you.
up.
I
Hey,
think
hey,
he,
hey,
but I
hey,
think he
hey,
does, Ab.
Dave.
I think he does. I think as
Hey,
a
Dave.
leader,
Nick has a
I
question
think
for
he's
you
come a
right
long way. Sorry, go ahead, Nick. But I do. I
Well,
think he's come a long way.
I just
but
had a question
that's fine.
because I know that it seems like Zeke has been struggling to find his way, in a sense, running the ball. Right? Am I wrong? I don't think I'm wrong in saying that. And with
I think
Pollard back
you're
there,
wrong, but I'll explain why after you're done.
right? And with Pollard back there to spell him whatever, but going forward, for me, I think that's a big. For me, that would be a big concern because the fact of the matter is, as you said, you don't want Dak throwing 40 times a game. You guys should be running the ball more and then
Right.
getting the ball out to those stud receivers you do have. I know CeeDee Lamb is hurt, but there's other guys on your team that are more than capable of catching the ball. So my question is going forward, though, what does Zeke got to do here to turn this around? Obviously, there's something wrong or whatever. He's dealing with an injury or something. But it just feels like he's not running the way he should, and Dak is overcompensating for that by then throwing the ball a lot. So, what do you do to fix that going forward?
Well, I definitely think that Zeke I don't think the issue is him struggling to find his way. I think that Zeke got paid and he's never been the same.
Okay.
I think it's a character issue with Zeke.
Okay.
I don't think
Okay.
he's hungry anymore. He got what he wanted. He got his millions. He's the Dallas Cowboys running back. You can see it in Hard Knocks. He ain't got a worry in the world. And then he
Yeah.
steps onto that field and pussyfoots around. That maybe on one hand I can count the amount of times I've seen Zeke run hard this year.
Okay. Fair enough.
Hey, you can call it a business decision. If he's decided he's not going to sacrifice his body anymore, and that's fine. But that's why you need to be the second string running back. And Tony
Right.
Pollard needs to be our starter. We need to
Wow.
run the offense through Tony Pollard. Let Zeke go sit on the bench and he can come in for goal line work.
Right.
Wow.
We've
Yeah.
got Thunder, but that all comes down to Kellen Moore. And Kellen Moore has not been good since the Denver game.
Wow.
Oh, we blew out Atlanta. Wonderful. Who
Yeah,
hasn't?
that's
I mean,
true. Mac
Kellen
Jones
Moore,
zeroed him.
Kellen Moore is calling every game like we don't have a running back.
Right.
He's calling every game like he's the running back
Wow.
and has to go out there and run against these guys. Like you're putting way too much in Dak's hands, and when you lose. So stop.
Right.
If we play
Hey, Dave. Ab said Zeke may get traded after this year. Do you believe that?
I don't think any team's going to give us fair value, and I don't think Jerry Jones lets him go for anything more than top dollar. So I think Zeke runs out his contract, and we just end up releasing him. If nothing else happens to Tony Pollard, and we'll probably at that point be well, we got a couple years left. Well, at that point, we'll be looking at the draft. No, I think this is Zeke's last contract with us. He just I don't want to say it because this is me on my patio talking about a professional athlete who goes out there and for his first couple of years made grown men cry. But Zeke, you're lazy. You're lazy.
Yeah.
You're not hungry anymore. I'm glad you have to live with that tattoo on your belly for the rest of your life because you haven't been hungry since your sophomore year. So get out of here.
So, hey, Dave, real quick on this. So, since you don't think he's going to get the value, Pollard he's showing out. And he's showing he can also do it on special teams as well with getting that return.
Sean, give me 30 seconds. I'm having audio issues. I'm coming right back.
Okay. All right, cool.
So, I know, again, Dak Prescott he's not like my favorite quarterback, but I got to say that when you're looking at passing, he's above Aaron Rodgers this season. Okay, so if you're looking at stats at passing yards, he is above Aaron, and obviously we know Aaron. I'm just gonna say it. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is the better quarterback overall, but I'm just saying that for a season to come back after an injury and the fact that he has more passing yardage and statistically right now going into week 13, he is above people who consider Aaron Rodgers to be a future Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah.
But I think
but all I'm saying is I agree with David in that he is the leader of that team. That's what I'm trying to say. And for people to say that he's not putting his heart in the game every game, I guess that's what I'm talking about. I don't think that's fair either because I think he is. Because he's proving it at least if you're looking at stats points. So no, he's about to because he's about to go on his bye week. He has a bye week now coming up. But all I'm saying, though, Dak isn't my favorite quarterback, but I also think it's unfair to just dump on him. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is a future Hall of Famer. And I'm saying that as a Bears fan. I'm not an idiot. I do understand the fundamentals of football. And that's all I'm saying. That's all.
Yeah, no, Dak's proven it.
That's all I'm saying. I'm he got hurt last season. He didn't get to prove himself.
Stats. I think people argue numbers with me all the time because I throw them out there. I'm still campaigning for Phillip Rivers to get in the Hall of Fame. People call me crazy because his numbers were comparable to guys who are in the Hall of Fame. But it's a different era, so it doesn't count.
Okay, he missed a game. He missed a game due to COVID. Correct. But he also played.
The guy's got
I'm sorry, but he also played yesterday, right? He played on Sunday. Excuse me, yesterday. Sorry, I'm a teacher. He played on Sunday, and so did Dak, and Dak still has more yards than Aaron Rodgers. So what does that say?
No,
I'm not responding to you, Nick.
She's responding to the comment. Yeah.
No, I know. I got
that. That's all I said.
I'm just saying, stats sometimes can be misleading because
I know, but
because obviously you'd rather have the victories than Dak having more passing yards than Aaron Rodgers. So I think the point to the point here that I would like to make, go ahead. I get what you're saying, Delilah. But my point is that's the thing is that for the Cowboys to be effective in the playoffs, to get back how they started the year, it has to go through the running game.
For David sure. Said, I agree for sure.
Zach, for whatever reason, Dak just can't have that many opportunities.
Passing, for sure.
It doesn't work for him. I think that's
I just said blaming him wasn't fair either, though. The whole falling apart.
Again, we always talk about the quarterback position, right? Number one position in football. It starts with the quarterback.
Yes, but as we all know, we're all smarter than that. We know that the quarterback might get all the credit, but it does not fall on him. We know what it really comes down to it is the team. So that's where we're going to come from here because I think Dave hit a point.
He did hit a point.
The point is that listen. Kellen Moore has running this offense where Dak is having to throw 40, 50
exactly.
You mentioned, talk about Zeke and how Zeke isn't getting any carries. Pollard is getting all this action. Pollard got most of his action on kick return. You know what I mean? They're not running a lot of back. They're throwing so much more, even with these guys in there. And that goes into the coordinator. Shout out to Ab Lowe. Always talks about the coordinators play a bigger role, but we tend to chop down the players. The coordinators have to put these guys in right situations.
100%.
And look, if Dak, or not Dak, but if Zeke, you know, we talked about it. Sid Woodman put this comment up. Didn't he lose 15 pounds this offseason to dedicate himself? You're so negative. Well, look, he did lose the 15 pounds, yes. But it doesn't matter if they're only calling, 4, 5, 6, 7 run plays and then making him block every other play. Dave, go ahead.
I don't care how many pounds or what he did in the offseason to use him during game. He does not attack when he runs anymore. He takes contact and shies away. He does not.
Oh, you mean like blocking?
Defender. Yeah. And like, I blame him if that's a business.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders did it. I don't that making that choice means that you can't bell cow for this offense when Tony Pollard is completely decimating you in yards per carry half the time. Right. Pollard comes off the bench and gets less touches and still outgains Zeke in critical moments in the game. Pollard's hungry. Zeke's not.
Right.
There you go.
Pollard ain't got paid, so
I don't think either one of them does as well without the other. Though you split them up, and teams can game plan against Pollard. And you can't game plan against both these guys.
And that would be, I think, the biggest mistake if they were to then ship Pollard out and just rely on Zeke. Because I think what we're seeing now is Zeke. Yes, he used to be, but hey, it happens. This happens a lot when a guy gets his money. He's like, all right, I'm protecting my investment. You know what I mean? We go back to the movie. We can go back to the movie Major League. You know what I mean? When the Wild Thing comes back and he's got the suit on. He's like, I gotta think about my career now. You know what I mean? Hey, we've seen what Dak and Zeke are doing. They're exchanging gifts on Hard Knocks, like little best friendies. Go ahead, Dave. One last word on this.
I love that movie.
One last word, and we got to move on to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Ablo, you're nuts. There's no way we were going to release Zeke during the year. Stop. He's saying that they held off on releasing Zeke because he has a knee injury. There's no way in hell we release Zeke and just let someone else have him. Jerry's going to get every single carry that he paid for.
Yeah, we are talking about the bottom line. I don't think we release him.
That's the bottom line. Also said so.
And Zeke is still a top rusher. Hey, we will see, because you already know how things go, and they definitely got to pay your man Dak. Look, we have to move on, ladies and gentlemen. Dave, we're going to keep you here with us because, we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys and how they've been starting to lose, but they still are atop of the NFC East playoff picture. And we've been asking these last couple of weeks in our newest segment, In or Out, we've been asking the question,
playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
I just hope we can win a game. We've been saying that the last 3 weeks, and Washington has been winning the games. Yeah, baby. So we are going to go, and I'm going to bring up the playoffs, the most recent playoff picture.
There we go.
Bring you under here. Dave, I know you can't see this, right? Can you see this, Dave?
I can see it. I just can't read it, but it's all good. What conference are we in?
All right, we're going to start with the NFC, and the first person I'm going to go with is Delilah. Delilah, so what we're going to do with this one this week, ladies and gentlemen, we know a lot of these teams right now are in the playoffs, and the majority of them, with the exception of maybe the last two in each conference, will most likely be making it. Actually, in the AFC, the last two might be making it there. But we are going to ask the question, who is the number one team that we think, and it might not be the number one seed at the moment, who is the team that we think will not be here at the end of the season. And then we'll go into both conferences and do that, and then kind of ask how accurate these are right now. So I'm going to start off with you, Delilah, and I'm going to come in the NFC. Which team in the NFC? First and foremost, number 1 seed right now, as of today, at 9-2, is the Cardinals. The number 2 seed right now is the 9-3 Packers, who would play the 7 seed Washington football team at 5-6. The number 3 seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 8-3 would play the 6-5 49ers at the 6th seed at 6-5. And the Cowboys, number 4 seed at 7-4, would play the number 5 seed 7-4 Rams. Delilah, I'm coming to you first. Which team in the NFC do you think is most secure? They're the safest bet or the best team. Like, you can rely on them.
I don't know if they're the best team, but I think Arizona is still secure. And it's because I talked about them in like a while back, and it's because they're winning without their like number 1 QB. They've won without their head coach, right? So I'm saying all around. I'm saying if you're looking at them just all around, they look really great. And I'm like, I'm not saying they'll keep that number 1 seed, but they're for sure gonna make the playoffs, and I could see them passing that first round.
Nice.
Rather they're 1 or 2.
Right. How are we feeling? Is that a consensus among us, Nick and Dave, or do you think
what
there's
I
anybody
would
else?
say for me, Sean, and this is your favorite trophy thrower, I got to go with the Buccaneers out of these 7, my friend.
Nice.
These guys are playoff tested. These guys are ready. I think they're starting to come along now. They've had a few troubles. They've lost a few games they probably shouldn't have. But again, when Tom Brady is at the helm, my friend, it's hard to bet against them. And again, they're the 3 seed right now, but I could easily see them finishing 1 or 2 in this conference. And again, playoff tested, my friend. You're the defending Super Bowl champs. We know it's not easy to repeat, but there's so much parity in this NFC that it's hard not to kind of go with Tampa Bay and be like, they're the one solid team that you trust more than any other here. Now, again, people could argue Green Bay, but Green Bay has their own issues. And again, I'm not saying – I'm pretty sure they'll make the playoffs
Tampa.
as well. But I'm going to go with Tampa as my team right now to totally move on and go deep into the playoffs in the NFC this year.
Yeah. Nick, Dave, do you agree with Tampa, or I know you were shaking your head about Arizona. What do you think?
I'm actually with Nick here for one reason only. Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady versus Kyler Murray versus Dak Prescott versus Matt Stafford versus Jimmy G versus Taylor Heineke.
Right. I'm not hating on that.
Aaron Rodgers has tanked in the playoffs.
I'm not hating on that.
And in
1
the
and 4 NFC championship games, my friend. 1 and 4.
Packers all the way.
Well, of course, Wendy. There she goes.
But wait, what do you say, Dave?
Aaron Rodgers has tanked in the playoffs too many times. When in the big game, there isn't a single name that I listed. I got a single team that has a quarterback that has been tested and proven
multiple times
through adversity.
Right.
They came off that. This goes into what I was saying about the Cowboys. The Cowboys came off a couple bad losses mid-season while you're hot, and obviously didn't learn anything. Tampa lost to Washington, and they come back down to the Colts, and what happened?
Mm-hmm.
They found a way to win.
Yeah.
So you never leave.
And beat the Giants too,
my friend. Yes.
Yeah, and beat the Giants too. So, yeah, definitely. No, I got to go with Delilah here. I think Arizona. I mean, we know about all their injuries. At one point, they were without J.J. Watt, D Hop, Kyler Murray. Edmonds, AJ Green, they were out all their stuff.
Ablo made a good point, right? D Hop is out, like you said. Like they don't even have D Hop, who's their number 1 receiver.
Well, right. And they've still been able to consistently win.
That's what I'm saying,
whether it's Colt McCoy, whether it's Connor, who's had a resurgence for the Cardinals. Honestly, I really do believe that the Cardinals are that top seed in the NFC, and I think by far they've proven that they can still do it. And as far as regular season, I think they're going to be top seed going into the playoffs now. We'll see what happens when they get to the playoffs. David, I'm coming to you next. and I think we know what the answer is going to be, but humor me anyway, Dave. Who is the team in the NFC who you do not think belongs in the playoffs? Oh God.
I'll give you a two-parter. If Kyler Murray can't come back healthy and exactly who he was and stay healthy throughout the rest of the season, Arizona's my team on that list that doesn't belong there. They've played a lot of good games, but we're talking about playoffs. We're not talking about regular season. We're talking about going against all the other teams on this list.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but the Cardinals without Kyler Murray do not belong on this list come December, January, February. So that's my number one, but it's dependent on Kyler Murray. Outside of that, we all know what my answer is. The no name, no playoffs.
Like Ash says, the team
here's the thing. I said it earlier, the Washington football team. You guys keep talking over on your little show over there about how possibly running the table against the division.
Let's go.
Heineke is going to crap himself on national television watching DeMarcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory, and Micah Parsons come after him. He might just run into the tunnel and leave. I don't know. We may not win the Super Bowl, but we sure as hell gonna beat the football team.
Oh, let's go. Let's go. Look, all I'm going to say is you better be glad there's these two people in between us. All right? I won't go over these two people to get to you. They're going to talk about my team. And here's Ashton. That's something David and I can agree on. Get out of here. Look, Delilah, Nick, do you guys agree with him? What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Delilah.
Oh, my God. So, honestly, of everyone on here, and it doesn't mean that they don't deserve, Rams are the ones that have disappointed me the most. They've dropped 3 games in a row. And I think that I agree with a lot of people and a lot of experts who are saying that Stafford is more hurt than they're letting on. And we've seen that happen before, right? Where teams are not 100% forthcoming when it comes to their players and their health, because he's not playing like he was, right? You could tell. You could 100% tell the difference between how he was playing in the beginning, where he was literally killing it and crushing it, and now you see him now, and it's it's not the same Matthew Stafford, and that's unfortunate because they really did come out guns blazing, right? And the games that they dropped, you're like, what's going on? And so they're gonna make the playoffs, but I think that they're not gonna make it all the way. I think they're gonna lose the first round. I think and everybody's gonna be surprised, but I could definitely see the Cowboys beating the Rams in the if this is how it goes. Only because just the Rams are shooting themselves in the foot more. That's what I'm saying. It's just if you and everybody's like, oh, but the Packers won. I'm like, okay, but did you watch that game? Because honestly, just like what always happens, the Rams lost that game more than the Packers actually won it. Right? Because Mason Crosby, I was sitting with Packer fans, they hate him, and they were actually surprised he made those field goals. And I say that from a Packers bar. They're like, oh my God, he actually made those points. They want him gone. He's 43, and they were actually surprised he made all those field goals. And so and basically what they're saying is that they don't want games to come down to field goals, and I don't blame them. They're right. They shouldn't, right?
They never want that.
And so and they're right, and they don't want that. And I'm literally quoting Packer fans. And so and before everybody's oh no, I'm telling you, that's
in the comments. Ab was talking about Stafford was hurt too. So
right, that's what I'm saying.
That's what she was saying. We do have to put some.
That's what I'm saying. Right. That's what I'm saying. I think that he's more hurt than people are letting on. That was exactly my point.
Right.
Is you can see the difference. That was exactly what I'm saying. You could tell from the beginning of the season to right now how his playing is. And so and so that's all I'm saying is I just don't see them going further anymore. I used to in the beginning. I was like, yeah, Rams are gonna. And I just don't see it. I don't think they're gonna make it past the first round.
Yeah, and it's about teams and when they're hot and when they're peaking.
Hey, I'm just telling you what the Packer fans were saying. They're annoyed with Crosby, so hey, don't tell me.
When I look at this, Sean, like giving the other teams that are in the NFC who are in the hunt, I would actually be fine. I would actually be fine if this were the top 7 at when the playoffs start, because I don't think teams like Carolina or New Orleans, or Minnesota, they're one and done for sure if they make the playoffs. You know what I mean? They don't have what it takes to make a deep run. They just don't. And that's why I say, like, with this list here, like, I would be okay if these were the 7 playoff teams come, 4 weeks from now. Because again, the Giants too, the Giants, the Eagles, these teams.
There's nobody that you think can replace somebody up here.
Yeah, I mean, they're not really, like, again. Yeah. I'm not 100% on Washington, even though I know they've won 3 in a row. Yeah, but if you look at kind of the thing, though, as I told you, we know everybody hates Washington here, besides Sean. But I'm just saying that in terms of at least they're out there and Heineke's doing what he can to manage the team while your 2 best defensive players are not there, and yet you've won 3 games in a row. Right. So again, it's a positive to look at. And again, the other teams are scrambling too. But I just think, even if you guys are one and done, even if you make the playoffs and then you do lose to the Packers, if it stays like this, it just somebody has to be that number 7. You know what I mean? It has to be somebody. And I just think of all the other teams that are involved now. Yeah, see, I'm not so, as much as Kirk Cousins is great with his 23-2.
He won't make a run either. I agree.
Right. I just think overall the Minnesota Vikings team is enough to carry that through.
So you're saying Washington. So you're saying Washington?
Well, I'm not sold on the 49ers either, but out of these 7 teams, I would say Washington is the least likely. Like, it's probably the weakest link right now.
Right.
But at the same time, I wouldn't be disappointed if they ended up making it.
I see what you mean. Like, just these teams right now as they are.
If these 7 teams stay the way they are, then that's totally fine with me. Yeah. Because it's pretty much at least the top, to me, 5 are set. In whatever direction. And then, huh?
So
not an answer.
Are you picking one of them, or you just stick with it?
No, I told you. I qualified my first statement by saying that I would be okay if all of these 7 teams did make it, but to me, the weakest link is the Washington football team.
Right, gotcha.
That's what I'm saying. Right.
I gotcha.
Out of these
number 1 Bucks.
You're out.
Okay, got it.
If we interchange the Washington football team with any of the other teams in the hunt, do any of us change our answer?
No, I don't think so.
Say that again one more time.
That spot is still the weakest link. Like I said, if Murray is out for the rest of the year, I think they crash and burn.
Where's your faith in Colt McCoy, my friend? Where is your faith?
He was at Washington, so that's where my faith is. He's not.
Where is your faith in Colt McCoy, man?
Yeah, look,
Thank you. Yeah. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, Colt McCoy.
Hey, do not pick on middle of the road quarterbacks, my friend. They've won Super Bowls. Do I have to give examples?
And they also were the reason why the Rams didn't do anything a year ago and made a blockbuster trade to get Matthew Stafford.
Well, sure.
Because they had John Wofford and then an injured Jared Goff, and we've seen Jared Goff. Look, at the end of the day, I think you hit the nail on the head, Dave, with when you looked at the quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford, and then you have Colt McCoy, if it's not Kyler Murray, because Kyler Murray, obviously, you put him up there. But then the other two are as Heineke and Garoppolo. Honestly, I think right now, with how he's playing, I think I trust Heineke better. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but I think with the schedule that he has and kind of how he's got the team going, I definitely going to go with my guy. I like San Francisco. San Francisco's on fire right now. San Francisco's playing hot, but with Jimmy G, we've always had questions about him. So I think that he would be out before me. Now, obviously, I'm going to put my guys up. We are on a 3-game winning streak. I will say it. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, David, again, you guys said it right. That last spot is definitely interchangeable with like 3 or 4 teams.
Right.
But again, it's when are you peaking? When are you playing well? Washington, San Francisco, we're playing well right now. The Rams, like you said, they're not playing well. You know what I mean? And that's a division with San Francisco, one game behind them. and Arizona. That's a division that couple losses, one way or the other, could change things. So that's going to be very, very interesting. We're going to go ahead and quickly move over into the AFC. In the AFC, the number 1 seed at 8-3 is the Baltimore Ravens. Shout out to Nathan Snell. The number 2 seed is the AFC East leading New England Patriots at 8-4.
Mac Jones
definitely said something about that against the 7-seeded Chargers at 6-5.
That's a disappointment.
We'll discuss that one. The Titans are 8-4 as a 3 seed, going against what we did say was disappointment. The 6 seed Buffalo Bills at 7-4.
Definitely disappointment.
And the Chiefs, who are coming and surging, and what would be probably the best game of that weekend. The Chiefs at 7-4 playing the number 5 ranked 7-4 Bengals, who just dusted the Steelers. Nick, real quick, I'm going to come to you.
Yes, sir.
Who is the team that you most believe in the AFC?
Well, I didn't think I'd say this at the beginning of the year, and I didn't, but I did say I would like to see how he progresses. I'm starting to believe in the Patriots, my friend. Mac Jones and that defense, which he got all his defense back after they all sat out with COVID, and he's playing with a bunch of guys who would probably be on the bench on other teams. So it's really, but he's got a great coach in Belichick. He's got a good coordinator in Josh McDaniel. He's in a system he's already played in college. It's basically the same system he played in college. The kid's very comfortable back there. He's improving week by week, and it's showing. Now they're their division leader now, the Patriots, in a division that had teams that everybody else thought would, So again, for me right now, the Titans are a question mark with all their injuries. I mean, they'll still make the playoffs probably, but there's a lot of injuries there in Tennessee. The Chiefs, still not sure which Chiefs team is going to show up every week. I know they're playing better now, but again, teams have figured out, and Patrick Mahomes just doesn't look his best. The Ravens are a shaky number 1 because again, they live and die with Lamar Jackson, and they still are. You know what I'm saying?
You like the Patriots.
So right now, out of this group, absolutely, I'm riding with Belichick and Mac Jones and going, hey, I like what you guys are doing. I like where you're at, and I like where you're going. So I'm
nice,
go
nice. Dave, do you agree or do you disagree? What do you think?
I'm torn. I still have not given up on Buffalo because we've seen every week that they beat themselves more than anybody else beats them. I love Buffalo. I love Josh Allen. However, I am with Nick on right now. If I had to choose today, if it ends today, my money's on the Patriots. I told you guys when Tom Brady won the Super Bowl that as soon as Bill found his quarterback, he'd be back. And here he is. Once again, riding defense and special teams with a smart quarterback who doesn't make mistakes. The same thing I said in the other conference. Stack up the head coaches and the quarterbacks of all these teams. I think Belichick trumps all. Belichick can game plan for each and every one of these teams, and as long as his team doesn't give it away, I think if it ended today, that's where I'm at.
Well, who wouldn't love a Patriots Buccaneers Super Bowl, right?
That would be nice. That would be nice.
Who would not
Oh my God!
Answer that question, Delilah. What do you think as the best team in the AFC?
Man, this is crazy, but I want the Bengals to go all the way. I know it's so bad.
No,
I don't think it's realistic, but I really want them to just kind of make their run for it. But I think of all these teams, I'm not gonna count out the Bills. But again,
100%,
when a couple weeks ago, I was at a sports bar and I'm like, hey, the Patriots are winning and Buffalo's messing up. They might actually win and blah, blah. And then this guy's looking at me like, you know what you're talking about, which obviously pisses me off. I'm like, yeah, I do know what I'm talking about. It's they're winning, the Bills are losing. The math is simple. So anyway, no, honestly, I think if Bill Belichick does know how to win, but I also have to this is similar to his start with Brady, which is they kind of made the same run. They didn't go all the way, not the first year, but they did make a run. Basically, we're showing how Mac Jones and Tom Brady have similar stats their rookie season. And so I think it's pretty great that he's in the playoffs. I can't see them winning the FC, but I wouldn't be shocked. I just can't see them going all the way. I wouldn't be surprised for the Bill, but I still don't know if they can go and win the AFC conference. I still think the Bills edge out just slightly. Only just slightly, but not by much because they've kind of slipped. But
yeah. No doubt. No, I honestly, I think.
Exactly. I agree. I agree with you, Sydney.
Were you talking to me, Delilah?
Yeah, no, sorry. Sydney made a comment. I agree with him too.
I agree with him as well. I do.
Okay.
It does hurt them, but I think Belichick hurts other teams. Slightly more than Mac, and his experience or lack thereof can hurt them. Because Belichick doesn't let Mac's mistakes hurt them. However, Josh Allen's mistakes, Lamar Jackson's mistakes.
Well, I think in the end, we're in the NFC. We've talked about everything is led by the quarterback and by the stud quarterback. I think in the AFC, it's led by the coach. You know what I mean? Obviously, we've seen what Belichick is doing with that team, and he's got them looking. Solid for all intents and purposes. I think they should be. I know what the record says, but I think they are the best team. I kind of agree, but I think that goes to Belichick and him knowing how to win. And then you look at the teams that are coaching against him. You have Harbaugh, who's got he got the Super Bowl victories, but he's struggled. You have Vrabel, who does have a good record against Belichick, but it's still that's always gonna kind of still be like an assistant thing. Andy Reid, hey. Last couple of years, he's had his team in the Super Bowl. So, obviously, he's at the top of the list, but Belichick is surging. And then you got guys like McDermott in Buffalo. You got Zach Taylor, and you got Brandon Staley. You know what I mean? So, which one of those coaches are you really going to fall behind? And at the end of the day, we all go to the GOAT. We all go to Bill Belichick. He has those guys surging right now. And I honestly think that they are the best team in the AFC just with how they're playing. Not the most talented, but the best, and they're peaking right now. Dave, what you got?
There is something to be said. We as fans look at these situations, but players and other coaches also look at these guys in a professional way. Yeah. And if you're going to sit here and tell me that other coaches and players aren't terrified of Bill Belichick, you're lying.
Of course they are. No, who's going to say that?
They all enjoyed last year. They all enjoyed Tom Brady ascending without Belichick, and now they're looking at Belichick with Mac Jones like, oh.
Exactly. He got his quarterback.
That gets in your head. That gets in your head,
Very
man.
true. Very true. Very true. And it's just like Nick Saban in college and all of his assistants. You know what I mean? I think this year was the first year that Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M beat them. It was the first year that one of his assistants actually came back and beat him. I think he was 25, against them. So it's similar to this. Belichick, he has it. He has his guy. He has his guys back, his team back. They're playing really good ball right now. Hey, I'm really with them. Hey, shout out to Abs. He said, guys, don't sleep on the Colts. We've already talked about the Colts.
When the Colts pick up Nick Foles, I'll get woke.
Look, as long as the Colts got that Jonathan Taylor running game, man, I'm telling you right
that
now,
guy's a beast, man.
He's a monster. Pittman didn't have a great game, but he's been playing well, and we can't sleep on Wentz. So yeah, definitely the Colts. But from this picture, Ab, is what we're talking about. Just this 7 game, and obviously as this changes, we'll refresh it and kind of go into it. And real quick, I'll start real quick. Of any team on this list, who's the least reliable, and like I kind of had talked about earlier, I think it's the San Diego Chargers. That goes with coaching. B, I kind of feel like this is where they are. This isn't a shocker to me. I felt like the San Diego Chargers were a good team. They weren't a great team. They have a good quarterback that's playing great. but he's still young. He still got some things he's got to work on. So on all the teams on this list, Buffalo, I agree with you, Delilah, that Buffalo is going to eventually turn back on. The Chiefs are going to turn it back on. The Titans are ready. The Ravens are a team that I'm a little shaky about, but I don't think they're going to fall that far. They've just been finding a way to win with or without Lamar, but I think they go as far as Lamar. But yeah, the Chargers right now on this list, I think are the only team that I can see not being on this list. So real quick, because we gotta get off soon. I'm gonna come to you, Delilah. Go Delilah, Nick, and Dave, and then we're gonna move on. So Delilah, what team is not on this list, or do you just think it's fine the way it is?
No, I think this is probably. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, who's on the hunt for AFC?
Well, to Ab's point, he was saying in the AFC.
Yeah. The Colts are kind of. I could see the Colts taking number 7.
So you think the Chargers are going to be not? So the Chargers are.
I think the AFC, like we've said, it's more like I feel like the NFC, as we've said, is more solid, and I feel what's going to change is just the rotation, probably, like where they're seated might change. But I think we could be probably comfortable that 1 through 6 at least are pretty much playoff bound.
So San Diego, I agree with that.
Yeah. So I could see the Colts taking that 7th spot. However, I feel like. And that's why I'm saying they're the least legit. I think that Week 13 is going to be huge because San Diego plays Cincinnati, and so I think Cincinnati has a shot here of moving up.
Well, right, and all these,
or at least
teams,
solidifying 5, right?
Well, yeah,
and
right.
So,
and
yeah,
Chargers, teams,
it's a must-win for Chargers, basically, and I think they're the ones that could fall out for sure.
So yeah, but okay, answer is Chargers. Okay, Nick, real quick, what's your answer?
It may surprise some people, but Buffalo could end up on the wrong end of this. Their next game is against New England, and that's another division game, the conference game. And I'm telling you, the Bills, if they're not careful, will slip right out of this top 7. And I know people are still, the Colts are right there. I think this, as I told you, I think the Steelers are done. I think that a couple of those other teams, there's nobody. The Raiders and all, I think they're all done. But again, I'm going to go ahead and say Buffalo as of right now, as we're looking at it this week. I think they're the team that could slip out.
Nice. Dave, what you got?
How many games between the Ravens and the Chargers, top to bottom? I can't read the screen.
Ravens are 8-3. Chargers are 6-5.
So 3 game swing. Out of all the teams on this list, I gotta go with Cincinnati, with a close second being Buffalo. I'm sorry, Baltimore.
Interesting. Okay.
I know that's Sid's pick because they don't have a quarterback.
Wow.
We won't go there. Baltimore is 2 up and down. Cincinnati has been 2 up and down. The other teams have been fairly consistent, even though they've had bad games. Buffalo has been a big disappointment. But like I said, I'm not counting them out quite yet to be able to turn that offense around and start moving the ball through the air again. Josh Allen has been disappointing. The 2 teams I don't trust on that list are definitely Baltimore and Cincinnati. And we'll see. I'm not going to count the Colts out, Ab. I'm just counting Carson Wentz out. They may win, but it won't be because of him.
Yeah. They're going to definitely have to run that rock. Yeah, definitely have to run that rock. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we definitely believe that the Colts, eventually, potentially will be on this list. I think each of us have mentioned we like them or
I don't, for the record.
Like what their team has been doing. So, yeah, and that defense is pretty solid. So, but Wentz is definitely a question mark at quarterback.
That was a bad loss last week.
Yes.
That's a psyche killer right there. If that team can actually come back after that loss and be who they were before that, then I'll give them a shot. But that's a soul crushing loss right there.
That's the thing. That's also I don't know. I kind of look at it differently because in my mind it's like we've all been looking at the Colts like the Colts are maybe they're good, maybe they're not, maybe they're good. But then you go up against the Super Bowl champs, and I mean, yeah, you lose in bad fashion, but you still go toe to toe with aforementioned Wentz, and Taylor has a monster game and things like that. I mean, look. The Colts are playing solid, yes, but they're going to go as far as, just like the Ravens, they're going to go as far or as short as the quarterback will take them.
And that's why I think they don't make it.
So it's going to be quite interesting. It's going to be quite interesting, but yeah,
they play the Texans week 13.
Hey, they need that W. They absolutely need that W because to be honest with you, if the Titans keep struggling and the Colts get back on the winning track, the Titans have the tiebreaker. They've won both games against the Colts, but the Colts are right next to them. So the Colts, they can come up, man. We'll see. We'll definitely see what happens. But, hey, we will definitely break that down. We have to move on. Nick, I'm going to come to you real quick to do the Knicks picks.
Hey, Knicks picks. Look at that. Fantastic. How we doing, boys and girls? Well, last week was not a great week. We went 1-3. So for the season, we stand at 21-27. So, you may want to turn this segment off then if you don't want to follow a guy who's losing every week. But here we go. We got 4 more games this week. I'm going to give it another swing because that's what I do, baby. I never stop swinging. So this week on my list, New England and Buffalo, as we were just talking about, said Patriots. They're the underdog this week. They're getting 3.5 points against Buffalo. And I'm going to take New England, Mac Jones, Bill Belichick, and that 3.5 points, and hopefully ride that to a victory over the Buffalo Bills. So that's game number 1. New England plus 3.5. Second game. Have we seen the resurgence now of the Denver Broncos, or are they still pretenders? We shall see. But we have Denver and Kansas City going this week. Kansas City is favored, obviously, in this game, but Denver is getting 9.5 points.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I think Kansas City wins this game, I'm going to take Denver in the 9.5, saying that they'll lose by less than that, possibly. Could be a good game. We'll see if Denver's for real. It's a division game, so we'll see if they're up for the challenge. My next game, Atlanta and Tampa. Now, this is a game I almost stayed away from, to be honest with you, because it's one of those things where Atlanta always plays Tampa tough, it seems like. But Brady still comes out on top. Because the spread is 10.5 points for this game. Obviously, Tampa Bay is favored. So I'm going to, against my better judgment maybe in some ways, I'm going to go ahead and take Atlanta at home plus the 10.5.
Wow.
I still think Tampa Bay wins, but I'll take Atlanta with 10.5 at home. So that's that one. Last game on the docket, and this is something I never do. And I've protested, so maybe I need to have my head examined after this. But you guys know I never bet on the Bears, right? This week I'm going there, and I'll tell you why. It's almost a reverse psychology thing, I think. Because the Cardinals are giving 7.5 points to the Bears. So I'm taking the Cardinals minus the 7.5 because I think they're going to beat us. But my hope is that in the reverse, because I'm so bad at this, apparently, that the Bears somehow find a way to overcome that and win this game. But for my pick, I'm going to take the Cardinals minus 7.5 over my beloved Bears and see if that sparks anything. So there you go. Call me crazy because I am, baby. So here we go real quick. New England plus 3.5 at Buffalo. Denver plus 9.5 playing Kansas City. Atlanta at home getting 10.5 against Tampa. And the Cardinals minus 7.5 playing the beloved Bears in cold Soldier Field. Probably without Kyler Murray. So maybe we can knock Colt McCoy out of the game and they can bring in the third string guy. Who knows? But those are my picks. I'm Nick Rosario. And buddy, you never will be.
There it is.
Love you guys. Thank you. Those are my picks.
Nice. Absolutely. So definitely tune into that as we bring those out week by week. Ladies and gentlemen, we are almost at the end of the show. We are going to give our last segment on here one last word. Yeah, buddy. One last word where we go and just say one last thing that's on our mind. Brief. We're going to make it quick. Dave, since you're a guest, one last word. What you got, buddy?
Patience. As we're going into this, this Christmas season, the service industry, the retail industry, these people have already gone through, to hell and back over the last year and a half through COVID. Staffing levels are low. Supply chains are decimated. These people are out there trying to make a living. If I would ask for one thing to everybody going out to eat, going to a store to buy a present, have patience. Have patience. Be kind, and know that we're all out there trying to earn a living. And 90% of the issues going on in these industries are completely outside of anyone in that location's control.
Yeah.
So thank you. Be kind and be patient.
Yes, sir. Nick, what you got?
You know what? It's funny because in some ways I kind of echo what Dave was saying because, especially in this season of giving, maybe giving is the thing. If you can find a small way to give, whether you give patience to a retail worker or you give, you see one of those Salvation Army people with a red kitten and you put $1 in there or something. This is the season for giving. And again, I don't have a ton. I'm not a rich man or anything like that. But you know what? When I find little opportunities where I can make a difference in something, I try. I do the best that I can with what I have. And I just think it's just an important lesson for me. It warms your heart. I mean, it's one of those seasons like Christmas is always just my favorite time of year with everything going on. With, I'm all about the Christmas music and the decorations and going to see lights and going downtown and seeing the tree and the windows and all that stuff. I'm all for it, man. I'm all good. I'm still 5 years old when it comes to that stuff. And I just think, but one of the big reasons as an adult that I've loved so much is because you're able to give now. I'm able to give back a little bit from all the magic I had when I was a kid that other people made for me. So now it's like an opportunity for me to give back. So I always giving in this season of Christmas, I would say, if you can, hey, understood. But if you have an opportunity and you find a situation where you can give, my friends, it warms the heart. It really does.
I can dig it. Delilah, what you got?
So just adding on to just kind of the spirit of the holidays is don't get mad at people who say happy holidays. You realize if you break down the word, it literally says holy days. Like, do you understand how words work? So when workers say happy holidays, don't get mad at them. Just be respectful. We literally just said happy Hanukkah before the show started. Do you know how many winter holidays there are that people love and celebrate also? And so if someone says happy holidays, just say happy holidays back. Who cares? Like, seriously, like, I worked retail for half of my life. It helped me pay through college. Okay. I didn't, I had to take out loans and work. Okay. So, like, it's just like what Dave was saying. Let me tell you, like, retail people did not ruin your child's holidays, whatever it is you're celebrating, just because you came in at the last moment and decided you wanted the hottest item that everybody wants, and you decide that you're going to dump off on the retail worker. Like, no, it's sold out. There's nothing in the back. You know what we do when we go back there? We don't do anything. We walk back there because we know nothing's there. We don't want to hear your mouth anymore, and we don't want to get fired because we don't have people paying our bills. So we take a walk because we know nothing's in the warehouse, because we knew that when we got there this morning, because our managers always have a meeting say, by the way, we're out of all this stuff. So then when we tell you there's nothing in the back, it's not like Indiana Jones. You remember like that scene? I feel like that's what customers think. That's like Indiana Jones, where you go to the back and there's all this amazing stuff back there. No, it's sold out. Okay, I promise you, when a retail employee says it's not in stock It's not there. So we walk away to the back where we know we're going to stare at an empty wall. We know it's not there, but we're walking away because we'll get fired and we don't got people to pay our bills. So we're going to take that walk and walk back there. We're going to stand there for maybe 2 minutes just so it looks like we're looking for something to come back out and tell you the same thing we told you 10 minutes ago. We don't have it.
We don't have
So
it.
all I'm saying is I agree with David. Please treat retail and restaurant employees with kindness. I promise you, like, it's not easy working with the general public. So please be kind to your industry folk, whether it's your bartenders or your wait staff or your retail employee. Like, I promise you. Be kind.
Or the guy
I
who
don't think
peddles
it's that.
sex toys, be kind to me too.
Right. Hey, you know what? That's still retail, okay?
That's right. Nice to meet you.
So all I'm saying is just be kind. It's not even nice. I'm just saying be kind.
I know.
Be kind. Kindness is not complicated.
It's free.
Be kind.
Doesn't cost
That's
you
my
anything.
be kind to your industry folk and anybody working in the front lines, honestly, wherever you are, whoever frontline workers are, whether it's doctors, cops, firefighters, retail, whoever it is, just be kind to these folks, man. Like, they don't get days off, they don't get holidays off, they don't get weekends off. I don't think you understand. We're like, I'm looking forward to the weekend. They usually work that. Oh, I'm looking forward to the holidays. They're usually working. And when you go up to people who are like, oh, why are you working Thanksgiving? Because you're here. So anyway, it's just be kind, okay?
Delilah,
I like
do
it.
it. Me too.
I like
bro.
that.
Me too.
I spent my life doing that, so I understand.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Something that was shared on our last show by Nick or by Dave and Sydney. The best ability is availability. In the Bible, it says, "Be ye always ready." So honestly, I think that's where we need to be at this holiday Christmas season. You know, just be there. Just be ready to be there. And hey, we're all tired. We're all, sick, going through whatever we're going through. But if you don't know the difference, you being there could be, I know we've got people in different chats and different things that kind of, without the group that we have, would be kind of lonely, would be kind of, and they, be available, be open to be available, and just be ready. You never know when you're going to come up and you're going to come on and rock the show, rock the world. Dave, I got to shout you out right now. When we first talked about it, my only intention was to bring you on for the Cowboys thing. But the rapport, you already know the rapport that you and I have. So, and same with the guys in the group. So it was just natural that we kept you on and kept going, and you know what I mean. That's something that, but the fact, that you're available for that. We know about how hard you work, and every time you try your best to get on the show. And hey, so we got to just thank you for the availability. Nick and Delilah, the same thing. We've been doing it since February. Ab and Will. I gotta shout Ab and Will out, because Ab and Will, they took over for me on Sunday. And that's one of the best things is when you realize that you've been doing it for so long, you kind of think, oh man, if I'm not there, it's gonna fall apart. But then you realize kind of what you've been showing and what you've been doing and how you've done it. People pick up on that stuff. People that, hey, for all intents and purposes, I don't know if Ab and Will would have had a podcast or a show without me, but right now they do. Right now, a whole bunch of people know them and love to hear what they have to say, and the same with you guys. And being available, is one thing. You guys love me that I'm doing all the shows and everything, but you guys are always available. You guys have taken time out of your schedules to come and do this, and that means a whole hell of a lot to me. If it doesn't mean anything to anybody else, it means everything in the world to me. When I say I love you guys, I absolutely mean it. And I
love you too, buddy.
For real. So definitely make yourself available. Be available. Tomorrow's not promised. So, definitely just be ready. Be available for that. Be ready for that. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we want to extend a special gratitude and a thanks to our main guy, Mr. David Wright. You were a great sport. We didn't fillet you too bad about your daggone Cowboys.
Right.
You know,
You're a good guy for a Cowboy fan. Right?
we let you breathe a little bit, you know. But we so appreciate you. Always got the green light on this show. And ladies and gentlemen, check us out Tuesdays. Let's talk fantasy football, where apparently I just talk about my losses. And these guys all talk about their excitement.
Like the one you took from me yesterday, Sean?
Hey, I took it from everybody. I just get into position.
Yeah,
Gotta shout pay attention to these guys, especially right now. We're getting close to the end of the season, playoff time. For those of you that are in playoffs, you need to pick up running backs. You need to pick up receivers, quarterbacks. These guys will hit you up with the right things, the right guys go to. And for the most part, we've been pretty correct, right, Dave? You've been pretty correct most of the year. So
we've done well. We've done well.
Yeah, definitely. So, and definitely got to shout out the people who are also with me, the host of Diversity with Delilah Crespo. Yeah. And Mr. Nick, I want the smoke, Rosario.
Bring it anytime. I'm here for you.
Let's get it. Yo, we appreciate all of you that watched. Anthony just hopped on here. Ab, Wendy, Ash, Dalton, Sydney, Nick on the show, Nathan, everybody. We're growing a pretty big audience. And yes, hey, it might just start with the group chat that we have, but people are listening, people are commenting, people are enjoying it.
That group chat is lit, y'all.
It is.
Even at 3 in the morning.
We honestly should make like a podcast or like a movie over our group chat, because that is just ridiculous.
Yeah,
hilarious.
Too many characters for that one, right? It's,
you know, actually, while I have 3 members on here of the group chat, let me say right now, I apologize for teaching Bobby about GIFs.
Nice job, Sean. Right now.
Oh my God! I was like, why? They're like 50 gifts.
Merry Christmas, Bobby. That is your Christmas gift for this year.
Seriously.
So hey, we have to let you go, ladies and gentlemen. We so appreciate you being with us, and remember, be available, be patient, and just be ready to talk football, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, it's time to
love you guys. Thanks so much.
Love you guys. Love you.
Yes, sir.
Love your show. That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see y'all next time.
All right.
Peace, guys.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The lion. The lion. New music, so funny. Kirk Cousins.
All right.